Right, so Black Tax is a hilarious, light-hearted sitcom looking at the culture of black tax. If you think you're just earning your way in this world, think again, because it's payback since the first paycheck. While the conversation around black tax is not a new one, seeing it play out in a comedy setting is certainly refreshing. But the sitcom touches on a very sensitive issue and offers some insight into a situation we know all too well. Let's take a look at this.
New year, new me. But I'm still the same. What are you talking about? Oh.
Even if you move into a house that's 10% cheaper, it's further away from everything. So you spend more on travel.
The last time I took a journey this long, it was me coming out the closet.
You look like you were just involved in a November.
Always so nice to meet new family members.
Why are you here?
Oh, nice to see you too, sis.
What? No! I like it when Uma helps me.
Is she in the house?
Be careful.
No, I don't enjoy your cake.
I don't really believe in revenge.
And this? Don't mess with me, Askari.
The family needs help. For the first time, I'm not the screw-up. What is this skank?
Do the skanky, skanky shave.
Yo, way.
You are.
Well, joining us to discuss this is the cast member Sne Dladla, actor and comedian. Sne, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Just take us through. Thank you so much. Yeah, so just take us through Black Tax and just the idea for the show, really.
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me to pull through this morning. But Black Tax, man, speaks about the stories that we have within our own homes currently in the country. And Black Tax isn't only just about currency. It's also just family things that actually happen within families. So, for example, the minute a wedding happens, you would say in a community, it's not your wedding. It's our wedding. These are things that we know as black tax. That whatever happens in the neighborhood is not your story. It becomes the neighborhood story. So it's all these things that come with being an individual that gets black taxed.
Yeah, I mean, the topic itself has been broken up and broken down in so many different variations, right? We've had people write books on it. I'm pretty sure there's academic scripts on it, academic research on it, for instance. And here we have a sitcom, and I think it just speaks so true, right, to the kind of country that we are. We're such an animated country, boisterous, lively. We are that country that makes light sometimes of some of the most sensitive and upsetting circumstances. Is that what's happening here? A look at black tax, but just at a different lens.
Yes, it's very true, man, because I think also just in general as South Africans, we are a country that knows how to laugh at ourselves in order to heal and proceed. That's definitely the case here, where we're just taking a lens, looking at ourselves deeper, beyond what we just see on the surface and going into family lives and actually looking at the scope of what we do and just laughing ourselves and going, man, these are things that we all do. You're not alone. You're just as fantastic and as ridiculous as we are in all these households. And also, especially this season too, we get to see the kind of tensions and journeys that we go through as fellow black people within the country. That when you move in with family, it's no longer your space where you have personal stories. It's now, in a sense, where we're all involved and we know each other's deeper secrets because we're in each other's spaces and faces. Because often that's what happens, that some of us economically cannot support ourselves. So therefore, we move in with family and then we have a sort of black tax thing happening there within the household. So just a lighthearted thing, just laugh at ourselves and to realize that we're not alone in this.
Yeah. I want you to take us through your character. I mean, we got an opportunity to show our viewers a small clip of what they can expect in season 2. But I wonder if any of them would be able to relate to your character in the show itself.
Well, my character is Newzroom Afrika in Black Tax. Newzroom, some would think he's the last born, but, well, he is in that sense. And he seems to be that individual who just gets whatever he wants through his mom. He has many ideas, but never executes them. So it's not to say necessarily that he's a lazy individual, It's just him not committing to a decision, which is what we see throughout the series, of him committing to something, whether it fails or not, to see it through to the end. And he's always being bailed out. So, for instance, he'll end up becoming that guy, Umalume, Nyamazwe Malume, who always arrive at the family gathering, who say now already he's a super jolly one, but somehow does not have his stuff together. And I feel like we all have that family member, but we love them deeply.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, at the risk of not upsetting any of Omalume Bam who are currently watching, I won't answer your question, but I just saw a clip of Menzi sitting surrounded by candles praying. Do you explore any other sort of cultural references or black cultural references in the show in a way, again, that is lighthearted, but at the same time is able to give some insights to how black cultures are basically practiced by black people in this country?
Yes, but we don't necessarily go into too much detail within the series itself. We go more in the general sense. But in some cultural senses, yes, we head there in that direction. Because we can see in an episode, I don't want to give away too much, we explore the spirituality of a spirit that hasn't left a household and is now haunting Uzakele within the series. So we do kind of dabble, but not too much in depth. Because obviously for religious reasons, that if we were to dabble there, we'd have to get it unbelievably accurate, but also to honor our cultures and our ancestry. I would believe it's not the greatest idea to do it on TV, as there are too many things you could get wrong to not honor our cultures and our people. But we do dabble definitely.
Certainly. So we've talked about how it is lighthearted, and we've talked about how there are moments that are laughable. But the topic of black tax itself can be a sore subject for a lot of black South African families that have to deal with the reality of it, right? It is a lived experience at the end of the day. Does the show attempt to carry that message across or tell that tale in a way that informs, for instance, people who come from different cultures, different races, etc., who will be watching the show and will be using it as an opportunity to learn about some other person's lived experience in this country?
Yes. No, the show definitely does that. It touches on that a lot, actually. And the central message that you'll find within this is that as much as each character goes through the most difficult times, and the strangest times as well, all they have is each other. And they realize that they can only do this thing together, even though not everyone within their circumstances is equipped to deal with a certain problem, but someone within that family has some sort of a solution to help each other. So it's the whole message of you own something and I have something. Let's bring this together to make something of the somethings that we have. So it definitely touches on that in that sense, to show the camaraderie and that family sense that we also hold within this country.
Right. So you mentioned that this is season 2. When can our audience or our viewers expect to see Black Tax season 2 on their screens?
Oh, yes. This is every Saturday at 7 p.m. on BET, channel 129. And you can also check it out on Showmax should you have a subscription. If you don't have a subscription, just drop a little line on Facebook and say, hey, somebody give me your logins, do something, and check it out there.
That was Black Tax cast member Sne Dladla, actor and comedian, taking us through the second season, the second installment of Black Tax on BET.